Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 podcast and collaborative book project between myself, Marianne Pack, with Envision Greatness Press, and Elizabeth Hill of Greenheart Living Press. Welcome, Liz.
Hi, Marianne. It's so great to be here with you today.
I am so excited to be able to share this collaborative project with you. And just to introduce you, this is Keys to Joyful Living. And it's going to be our 2023 series for our podcast and book collaboration. And Elizabeth and Greenheart Living is going to be our publisher. So I am so excited that she said yes to my idea. And so I just wanted to kind of let you know that this project came about from a meditation that I had. I downloaded an idea about a collaboration book, and I kind of just set it on the shelf for a few weeks. And then I thought, no, it's maybe time that this needs to be the project for 2023. So I approached Liz and offered this to her, and she thought that it was a good idea, which I'm so excited that she did. So just to give you an idea of where Keys to Joyful Living came from. And I just thought there's so many of our beautiful people out there who have been in other collaborative projects and people that we know that they hold keys to their clients and customers' joyful living, and they share them freely with them. And these keys are what we're going to gather together and put into this podcast and book collaboration. So I love statistics. I'm a researcher and I love that. So I just wanted to tell you, I Googled, just on Google alone, the words joy, happy, and happiness. And there are over 14 billion searches for just those words. And there's only 5.6 billion internet users as of June of 2022. So there are a whole lot of people looking for joy, happy, and happiness. And I'm so I know that this is definitely a heart tugging for so many people around the world. So I know that the Keys to Joyful Living is going to be a dynamic project for us to work on. And so I know, again, like I said, many of you already offer those keys to joyful living to your clients and customers. Would you like to say anything about it?
Yes. So it occurs to me that this is basically what everything is about, right? So we do know so many people that are in the professional space of, personal development, of coaching, of business coaching, and all of it is in service of living a joyful life.
Yes.
Right? All of it. And so whatever our expertise is, if we are in this space of transformation and consulting and this type of work, there's something that you do that brings that, right? Because people are looking for that. They're looking for their lives to be more joyful, to feel good. All right. That's why we build our businesses, right? And sometimes it's for us, or it might be a mission driven where, yes, it's for us, but it's also for the people that we serve and for the world as a whole, that we're all looking at building that. So when you brought this idea to me, I liked it personally because I just want to read it. I love your whole We Are Joy book series. It's helped me. I've had, it's helped me personally because it doesn't mean we don't wake up sometimes and feel grumpy if we're doing this work, right? And it doesn't mean that, everything's perfect in our life, but we do have a choice every day how we look at it, what we do about it, getting ourselves in habits where it's easier to wake up in a better space more commonly. So I went, yes, this is going to be great because so many people we know will have wisdom to share for this. And I'm going to learn something about how to have more joyful living too in the process. So that's always, I want to be putting these good messages out into the world And I also don't mind learning more myself and seeing who we draw in to collaborate with. I'm really excited.
Yes, I am too. I know on any project that I work on personally or that I collaborate with you or help you with, I'm just learning so much and it affects me and impacts my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's times like when you were talking about just being a little grumpy or something, or, the day isn't going so hot. And then I get to work on a project and it's like, it just brightens my spirit
Yes.
because it just lifts me up because of the words and the stories that people are sharing
Mm-hmm.
about how they came through things and how they are now using that as their message into the world for good and to bring that joyful living to their customers and clients.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I love that too.
So who I was who we're inviting to this is anyone who whose work helps people live more joyful lives. And so, you have those key elements that help them be able to assimilate and transform their lives into more joy. And that's definitely our mission is to always support and promote, spread more love and joy around the world. Liz also says peace. So, yes, yes, yes. So it's coaches, business coaches, life coaches, financial coaches, wellness, fitness coaches, spiritual coaches, coaches that help people overcome traumas, even coaches that are design or creatives. You all help people live more joyful lives. And intuitives, shamans, light workers. Again, you all have keys to helping people live joyful lives. Therapists. We were even thinking, home designers, organizers, declutter specialists, because they all help us live more joyful lives. Any kind of service provider, product provider. If your work is helping people live better and more joyful lives, we are inviting you to participate. Would you like to say anything else about that?
Yeah, I'd love to hear too. What I get really jazzed about with the collaborations is when people are willing to share their personal stories, right? That's what lands. And that's what lands with clients and potential clients too, is if you're willing to say, okay, I've done this and here's what made a difference for me. And I think it is, and we'll talk more about this, but I think it's very important that it doesn't mean that everything's just hunky dory and I've made this
Oh,
perfect life for myself. Right. Like yes, that's wonderful. We want to see that. And we still bring ourselves with us no matter what the great
everywhere.
everywhere. So that brain still might have patterns from the past. So it's great to for people to know that we aren't just looking for people to come in and tell us what they think other people should do,
Yes.
but we'd like to hear what mattered to them, like what has helped them, and working they might have used that to work with clients too and see the results of that. And there's nothing more beautiful than discovering something hard won often
Mhm.
ourselves and getting to see that change in a person and be like, oh my goodness, it was worth it. It was worth whatever I had to go through or learn to help this other person. So I'd love to be able to bring that into this too. um yeah.
Yes. Yes. And like I always say, our mess is our message because what we've gone through typically ends up being what we coach about, what we design, what's important to us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what we have and those stories behind that support the mess that we went through is so impactful. Those stories, like Liz says, that's where people will connect with us and say, that's my story, or that's very similar to my story.
Mm.
And it made me feel this way. And now I really want to move into this. How do I get there? And this is what this project is all about, is telling those stories, being vulnerable and sharing things. And let's talk just a little bit about, what you're going to receive as a participant. This isn't your ordinary book collaboration because Liz and I have made it bigger than anything we've done separately. So initially, we're going to have you on the Dynamic Thriving podcast, my podcast for this Keys to Joyful Living series, and that's going to run from January to June of 2023. And then we're going to have you write your chapters and bring that into a book that will be published about November, probably. That's what our tentative schedule is. And Liz at Greenheart Living Press is going to be our beautiful publisher. So I am so, so thrilled for that. And so not only being featured as a guest on the Dynamic Thriving podcast, you'll also have a transcription of your episode. I will get it transcribed and send it off to you so that you have a foundation to kind of write your chapter. We'll have the editing services, our book formatting, the cover design. We've already been working on that, and you may have seen some of our photos with the book cover and our draft so far. Guidance. If you need writing help, or if to be able to network with the other authors, we'll have some author meetings so that you can get to know each other and kind of share some time together. You'll also receive personalized social media, little memes, so that you have something to share with your people, with your audience. We'll have the book launch, and it's the way Liz provides that launching service. Typically, we're going to go straight to bestseller status. So then you have that in your little pocket of saying, I am a bestseller.
I do say it's not guaranteed, but we have 100% track record of any book that we've wanted to launch to bestseller
Awesome.
has become a bestseller. Yes.
Awesome. And then again, at the end, you'll be featured as a guest on Greenheart Living podcast. And you'll also have a lifetime membership in the Writers Hive, which is Liz's culmination of all the writers that have been involved with books that she has put together. So you'll have a beautiful community of the Writers Hive. And I am in that group, and I love being in that group because we have, is it monthly masterminds that we usually do?
Yes. Yep. At the beginning of the month. Yeah. So it's a great opportunity to stay with that community, to come into calls to say at the beginning of the month what your writing goals are for the month, and to check in and see and share what the previous month was. There's a lot of things in the world that will distract us from our writing, right? Because the world has other priorities that they want us to be doing. So it's nice to have that monthly call to connect with other people that are in the same boat of writing and creating and supporting one another. It's a really special space. I love those calls.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do too. I've enjoyed being in the group.
Yeah.
And can you share some examples of authors who have come in to be in a collaborative project and what they've received? Because it's very impactful. I mean, the collaborative projects that I've worked on with Unmuted Voices right now has just been blown away, these authors, because they told stories and it went in a direction that they didn't think they would go. And it has just created so much healing, even within themselves, peeling back more layers. So how has it impacted some of the authors that's worked on your collaboration projects?
Yes. So the biggest impact that I see is that it is a transformational experience to write your own chapter. There is amazing healing in it. And, we get very amazing people coming in that are therapists and coaches, and they do a lot of work. So often they're coming in being like, I'm done with all the work. Like, they feel like I've done all the things, right? And there's something about the experience of the ways that you get to share your story,
Yes.
the way that we structure it, that does provide this healing that they might not get in another space for sharing, because we do allow people to meet each other. The authors have that opportunity to connect and talk with one another. They get to say their story out loud to one of us,
Mhm.
right, as coaches, and as well to start sharing that story with other people, which gives them practice for saying it out into the world, right? If they're tiptoeing into that. But it's also, even if they don't use it for public speaking, having that opportunity to clear that story from them. And I like to say that when we share our stories, then the world is holding it with us, right? So the world holds that story with us, so we don't have to hold it ourselves. And people get a lot from hearing those stories. So I wanted to share a few different actual examples. You can find this on my Greenheart Living website, greenheartliving.com. If you go to book collaborations, there's a few different things that people share about why to be part of a collaborative book. And so these, Angel Johnstone wrote a chance to tell your story and reframe it as the superpower gift that it actually was. I know that we've had people that sometimes the first versions of our stories are like, they might be a little victim-y or angry, or, like, which makes sense when you hear what people have been through. It makes sense that that's where their story is, right? But there's something that can happen in it where it loses the power over somebody, and actually is something that gives them the strength to go out and change things. So I thought that was a really lovely way that Angel wrote about that. And then April Goff Brown, we know April, she said, I got introspective in thinking about the whole COVID experience. That's what she wrote about in The Great Pause, and the journey I took in its first months. I gained confidence in being able to write and believe that I have a story to share. And she's gone on to write, to do a few other books, right? So those are a couple different examples. And people talk of the community that they have now with writers that have helped them continue in their writing and publish their own books. I do want to talk about, from a business perspective, what can happen with folks that are part of the book collaboration, because I think that's really important. I've had the great opportunity of getting to see some women speak that have developed their speeches through writing in the chapters, right? For writing in a collaborative book. And so they have shared their story there, and then they've taken that and gone, okay, like, how do I make this into, or utilize this story in a public forum? And I know of at least one of those that has gone on to actually get paid speaking gigs from this, which is really neat. And I know a goal for a lot of people. The chapter itself, sometimes, we're all told we need an opt-in, right? We need something that people can sign up and connect with us and get to know us. A chapter that you write for the book can make a wonderful opt-in to get the email from people and develop that connection and relationship with potential clients or collaborators, because you're sharing your story, right? And it's a totally different experience to, I don't know. So before I wrote and published my books, it was like hard, right? Like, oh, I got to build my coaching business. I got to reach out to all these people. I got to do this stuff, right? I did it. It worked. It was slow going, but it happened I got paying clients, but it was hard. It didn't feel good. so much the marketing part. So there's a lot of people that are in that boat, like, oh, I hate marketing. Oh, I hate, doing that, the sales and the outreach and all that. It can totally be a different experience. If you're in a collaborative book and you have that book out there, people can find you and they get to know you already before they get on a call with you or meet you in person. Like they actually know you. It can get a little weird to get used to that. It's like, whoa, they know some stuff about me, right? After they've read the story, but they already know and trust you and are building that relationship with you. So when you get on a call with them, they've already decided that they trust you. They see something in you that they relate to and feel like, oh, this person gets it and they could really help me.
Yes.
And so when it comes to whatever services you offer, it's a much easier experience for them to say, yes, please. It allows the people to find you that need you,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of other things. I love seeing where some people that get really involved in the community of the collaborations, they can like collaborate on things together. I love seeing their connections, that they've become friends for years after, and like professionally helping each other, but also just personally helping each other too through some tough times sometimes. So I'm a raving fan of this because I've gotten to see it work so many times for people that come in and really use the structure of it. To make it for people that send in a chapter and don't connect with other people, or take part in the podcasts, or do get involved in the fun, because it's fun to do. They don't see as many of the benefits, but it's still nice to have a book, right? But when you're connecting with the other authors and taking part in the different opportunities, it's great. And so that's why I really like the structure of this book, where everyone's doing a podcast. It's part of it at the beginning, and then when we launch, you're doing a podcast too, so you'll really have those under your belts to help promote the work that you do, and help people find you and get to know you better. Right?
And I think having these, the podcasts available, because the Dynamic Thriving podcast will be a visual. It's a video live type, podcast. And you have that even to put on your media page.
Yep.
And then of course it goes to the podcast platform and then is distributed. And as at the end again, when you're on Liz's podcast, the Green Heart Living podcast, that's again distributed out. And so you have those pieces of media that you can use to promote who you are, and the book, and it shows your expertise. So again, it's like that no like and trust, or no love and trust, however you want to put it. Because people are seeing you. That's why I love the live aspect of it, the video portion of it, because it's not just a voice out in the ethers, that's coming through a podcast. People get to see you and see how you are. And because they connect watching you, hearing your voice, because so many of us have healing voices, their attributes, the energy that goes out from being able to see and hear someone is so much more powerful to me than just only having the voice out there. I think it's just much more profound.
I think so too. Yeah, there's something about us really connecting with each other as human beings when we get to have both, right? So the video is important, right? I think both. Absolutely. And these are just great things to have up. It's like instant professionalism, right? Like instant credibility when you say, oh, she's done these media things, and that she's got a book. Okay, cool. And you can get to know and tiptoe into it so that people can relate to you and see if you are a good match for them to work with in whatever capacity, and open up opportunities without you having to do any extra work. Right? Like when you put these things up on LinkedIn, you might get contacted for speaking opportunities, for,
Mhm.
for this, for that, right? So without you having to be the one, like, hard earned marketing feet on the ground. It's like, oh, you put the thing up and then people will, they'll come to you. So it's a lot less work that way, which
Yeah.
then you get to spend more time doing actual work of working with clients, which is
Right.
what people are looking for.
Absolutely. Yes. And there's and it's also another thing though that, you add to your speaker one sheet that you have this.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many the other thing is that there are so many times when I look at conferences or, summits, and they're saying this speaker has produced this book. She's the author of this. He's the author of this. That's a big part of they're showing themselves to be an expert in their field. And this
Mm-hmm.
is what this kind of a project is providing you. So I'm really excited to help people share that message, because again, my mission is to spread more love and joy in the world, and being a part of Keys to Joyful Living is going to help us spread that. Definitely.
Yeah. And I think I do also like that you're offering some ghostwriting support for
Mhm.
people
Oh,
that
yeah.
need that, because it's just the fact of sometimes people, yes, if they had a whole week off, they'd feel totally fine with writing their chapter, right? But often the people we attract for book collaborations are people that are doing an awful lot, right? They're very busy, they're doing the work, they're doing this, doing that. And so if they can be on the podcast with you, so this is
Mhm.
not everybody's going to do this, but if you do want that support in that extra support in writing, that they can do the podcast with you. You can take that podcast and craft a chapter
Mhm.
and then share it with them and be like, okay, did I get your message right? Like, are there other things you'd like to tweak? But work with them. It takes up a
Yeah.
whole less, it lightens the load of having to write the full chapter, but they're still getting that experience of sharing their story out loud,
Mhm.
right? And sharing their story on paper and being able to get the response from people from learning about what they've been through and how they help people,
Yes.
and getting those keys to joyful living. So I like that you have that as an
Mhm.
option here, which is the first time we've done that in this way. We've done it when we've done that with a book we did for the nonprofit for
Mhm.
Trauma to Triumph. You were able to support some of the authors in that way, which is
Mhm.
great. And I love that we're just saying that this is available for people that would want that, and know that that would help them. So
Yes.
it's nice.
And also in ignite your
Oh yes,
leadership.
yep, ignite your
So,
leadership.
I've been able to support a few people already in this way, where the interview gave me enough to write your story, your chapter for you. And then, I submit it to you and you tweak it.
Yep.
What needs to be added, what's missing, so we work together, but you're not spending the time actually having to sit down and write if that is a time crunch for you, and that's what's holding you back from deciding to join. Don't do that. We have ghostwriting help for you, and we want to support you in this way.
Yeah. And it's important to me that people don't let the stop of feeling like, oh, I'm not a good writer,
Yeah.
or right, to have that, because people have such important stories
Yes.
that we need to hear. Like the world needs to hear these stories so that you can connect with the people that feel alone, and that that they don't know what to
Mhm.
do. They don't know what their next step is. It's so much easier if they can hear from somebody who's just, a few steps ahead of them. And so I think I'm super excited about the way that we're rolling this out. I think it's really neat, to set this up for people and do the collaboration in this way.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. And Should I go into pricing now just so that people
Yes.
can know what the investment is? So yeah, so
Perfect.
all of the things we've talked about. So if you are doing the program where you're writing your own chapter, but you're doing the podcast, you're getting that transcribed episode, you're getting all these editing support. We do all the book formatting, cover, and then we are launching, and you get in the launch you'll get all sorts of good social media images and things that you can use to help that promote the book and also promote you and your services. And then we do our best-selling launch that we do. So all of that is $9.97. That's the pay in full price. And there's some options that if you want to stagger it over time, there's a few different choices that you can make of payment plans. And then if you want to go ahead and have Marianne's ghostwriting support and have her pull together the chapter based on your story and the transcription from the podcast, then the cost for that is $19.97. And that also, we have a few different payment plans in there too. So that's the pricing for it. We do have, as far as like practical things, what happens is you apply for it, and then there is a agreement you'll receive that will explain everything that you receive from being part of the collaboration, what you can expect from us, and what we're looking at as expectations from you, so that we're all on the same page. And then you can make payment, and then you're in, and we welcome you in. We send you all your goodies, and we get the podcast scheduled and set up for you. Did I miss anything, Marianne?
I don't think so. I think that was pretty clear. There is you can apply. There's an application, and all of this information is spelled out for you on the apply to projects page at envisiongreatness.com. If you you can also find it on elizabethshalegreenheartliving.com, and it will take you over where the information is on the Envision Greatness website. But there's an application, but all of this is spelled out for you very clearly, and it will help you make an informed decision. I also have a PDF on there that is available for you to look at the timeline, so you can kind of plan next year. We are taking applications right now because the podcast goes live in January, so we need to start doing recordings in December. So I am looking forward to people popping on to get their spot reserved early in the year. And we'll continue to take applications until this is filled. And I am so thrilled about people coming to join and getting ready to do our podcast together. And so we can get it up and running in January.
Yes. I just want to say one more thing, which is I love the structure of this, that it's a flowing thing. So we'll be working on this book all year until November. And then we're releasing it literally the perfect time to release in November, right? This book, because it's going to be, this would be a wonderful holiday gift for someone, right? If it's, Keys to Joyful Living, that's a very lovely. And for people that sometimes the holiday time's a little stressful for some people, I've heard. So we might be able to need to get some Keys to Joyful Living ourselves in November and December. So I think that will, I think the timing for this, the rollout, is really nice in a way that maximizes when we're publishing and launching, and also allows for ease and flow throughout the year for us to make this a nice experience of not a rush of drawing it together, and being open to opportunities throughout the year and see where it goes and what is created through that. So
yes.
Yes.
And I so appreciate you being our publisher and wrapping this all up together in a beautiful bundle and providing this for everybody. So if anybody has any questions, we're open to that. You can put them in the comments or just connect with Liz or myself. I am happy to get on a call with you if you are interested or have some questions that you need answered before you make your decision. I'm happy to do that. You can connect with me on social, private message me, or shoot me an email. But go over to envisiongreatness.com, and there's an apply to projects button at the top, and that will take you to that page, and you can read more about it there. And then it doesn't cost anything for you to apply. Just look through it, see if this resonates with you. And again, if you need ghostwriting, we want to support you in that way, because we don't want you to say no just because you feel like you're too busy. So for our busiest authors, we really want to offer this to you so that you can get to participate too, and you don't feel left out in the cold. So is there anything else you would like to share before we close?
I'm just so happy to get to do this. I mean, I trust you so much, and you're so professional, and just soulful, that I know that this collaboration is just going to be so nice, you know. So I'm very excited, and I'm super jazzed to see who we get to create with in this upcoming year. So thank you for having this idea and sharing it with me, and inviting me to be part of it. I'm very grateful, Marianne. This will be fun.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Liz. Thank you, everyone. We look forward to hearing from you, and go apply today. Go over and look at the page on envisiongreatness.com, the apply to projects page up at the top. Click on that, and the link should be also in the description here. So we look forward to having you participate and bring your keys to joyful living to the world in 2023. Thanks, everyone.